It feels like a new. Here is a clip of Sherrod Brown. He's talking about the appointment of a gold bug to the Federal Reserve. They are attempting to, Donald Trump is attempting to insert a person who believes that we should return to the gold standard, the Federal Reserve.
Well, Sam, you kind of sound like you don't like ideological diversity.
I mean, I don't mind the ideological diversity, but the insanity of returning to the gold standard. But here is just as relevant in this moment, and hopefully that there'll be enough defections from the Republican side that we will not see her appointed to the Fed. But here is Sherrod Brown just asking Dan Sullivan to recognize the fact that, like, literally you are spewing potentially you're not potential. You're spewing your aerosolized whatever's inside you on the rest of the Senate. We don't know. Hopefully you don't have any COVID, but it's not like we haven't seen high incidence of COVID amongst Republican leaders as of late. Here it is Sherrod Brown calling him out. This is why we have a crisis in this country, folks.
Without objection.
President.
Senator from Ohio.
I'd start by asking the presiding officer to please wear a mask as he speaks, and people below him are, I can't tell you what to do, but I know that the behavior.
I don't wear a mask when I'm speaking, like most senators.
Well, most senators.
So I'll put it on, but I don't need your instruction from.
I know you don't need my instruction, but there clearly isn't much interest in this body in public health. We have a president who hasn't shown up at the coronavirus task force meeting in months. We have a majority leader that calls us back here to vote on an unqualified nominee and at the same time to vote for judge after judge after judge, exposing all the people who can't say anything, I understand, the people in front of you and the presiding officer, and expose all the staff here, and the majority leader just doesn't seem to care. Mr. President, the American people sent a
clear on what he's talking about. If you've ever been to the Senate, or maybe you've seen like a wide shot, right below him, literally right below him, he is elevated in like a, it's almost like it would be a judge in a courtroom, except for instead of there being this space between the judge and where the defense and the prosecutor sits, there are staffers, people who are, recording votes, people who are taking minutes, people who don't have the ability to say, yeah, there it is, right down there. All of those folks down there who don't have the ability to turn around and go like, hey, Senator, would you please not breathe your crap on me?
And also who are less powerful.
That's my point.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
They are subordinate in terms of like employment there, and they don't feel comfortable turning around to a senator. And I guess it's a little bit surprised these guys may have big egos. I mean, as displayed by the fact, like, I don't need to take your instruction.
And they still don't understand the concept. They still don't understand the concept that your mask protects other people. It's not the other way around. So even if they're wearing masks and you have COVID, they're still screwed. We are months and months into this, and they still don't understand this concept, or willfully don't understand it.
Well, they can't show that they understand it because that's weakness. It's political weakness. And looking at that photo again, I don't know if you could put that back up on screen. I don't think anybody's wearing a mask unless you're just displaying what a typical.
That was just a general.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know. I couldn't tell.
Well, they're in the splash zone, so
exactly. It's just unbelievable. It just like this.
This alone, by the way, this is why Democrats need to control the Senate, because then at least they have a leader who actually punishes, reprimands folks for violating just basic rules, public health rules.
Modeling this stuff, like it's just, honestly, it's like this. It's dystopian. Like the idea that like there's like a movement, and it's gonna, Binder said this the other day. It's a combination of QAnon, but there is going to be like the Joe Biden, like the version of the birthers.
Yeah.
And the Tea Party is going to be centered around like some offshoot of like, Joe Biden stealing our liberty by
The vaccine. He's implanting stuff in our skin or whatever.
Vaccine and masks and this and that. Like,
and the vaccine was a great idea when Trump was pushing it and
Right,
saying, "Oh, we'll have it by election day." But Biden, I don't know. I don't trust that thing.
Let's call it Trump's vaccine. How about that?
Yeah, then
Trump scene.
I'm fine with that.
Listen, Trump, make all the money on the vaccine. We don't care. You've made it on everything else. Just we'll give you this. We'll swap out the Arctic for the vaccine. You can make all the money.
It's funny that you say that. This is completely not apropos of the moment, but I think that like it occurred to me the other day, like how much the label of Obamacare really ended up being a liability for like, and I think like, at one time we knew it, and then I just felt like, it was like, whatever, what difference does it make? Like, and frankly, I still think that the Affordable Care Act also ended up being a liability for it because it was not managing expectations. Patient protection would have been much better way of referring to it, because that was the one thing that law, outside of expansion of Medicaid, which is a separate, really sort of like very distinct from the Affordable Care Act, it seems to me.
We had a long discussion about branding yesterday, just really quickly, and like that's where Republicans are just infinitely better with the thing with Obamacare and of course the death tax and the climate change. But
we also used it after there was a point where it was their term, and then Obama just started saying it.
Yes.
On the stump, he said on the stump for Joe Biden. I was like,
well,
whoa.
I think there was a time where he basically said like, I can't fight this. I'm going to appropriate it. And I think there was a lack of understanding of just how much a motivating factor he personally was for Republicans. Like, and I think if he had that awareness, he would have said, and frankly, I don't know that many people really understood just how much of a motivating factor Obama himself was.
It's so weird
for
to me.
Republicans.
He's so like, I don't know. I mean, it's weird to be in the mind of, besides, yes, I guess it's the racism. But
yeah.
Okay, never mind.
I mean, and if it's not like a direct racism, it is just basically a low grade threat.
Yeah.
That is perceived. I mean, it is racism, I guess. But I mean, I think it's not even, I don't know that you need to have that consciousness for it to be racism, but it's
my point was just that he's like, I think despite my political misgivings, charismatic and likable. So it's just, but
of course,
yeah, I mean, it's just,
but on some level that made him more threatening.
Right.
I think probably on every level, like he's not, that's why he was a Manchurian candidate, because it's under
he's
that,
too slick.
It's under that charismatic, likable veneer.
Exactly.
Reverend Wright.
The Kenyans recruited him.
Exactly.
To take over our government. God damn it.
Get rid of his accent.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say, like, I remember in North Dakota during the Obama years, there were people that would tell me, like, yeah, I get, like, the Republicans are going crazy, but Obama needs to cool it, too. And it's like, what do you mean cool it? Like, what is that? It's just like a general feeling they have that he's, like, promoting some sort of crypto Black Panther agenda.
Well, I mean, it started in the campaign. Thank you, Hillary, for some of these biggest attacks on him.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. I mean, that was what got me blocked by Neera Tanden.
That was it, really?
Well, she said something like, after Ossoff lost the first time, she was like, when they go low, we go high, and it doesn't fucking work, right? Like that's what she said, and I said, well, Hillary's team went pretty low with Obama, and the whole. And then the darkening of the skin and the ads, and we got in a back and forth. She blocked it
because it was her idea. I always thought that the Republican primary, someone should have taken all of these shots. I don't know why they didn't do it. That Trump had with the Clintons and used it. Like if Fox News has literally just been like the anti-Clinton network for 20 years, I just understand why they never went after Trump for being so Clintonian, like rubbing up close.
Because I think every one of them, until it was too late, were terribly afraid of. They knew who their voters were.
Right.
They knew that Donald Trump fit the suit. Like he was the Republican that they had constructed. He is.
Well, the reports were that like the Murdochs didn't like Trump, but internally in Fox News there were a lot of like, but I mean, like Ailes was like, the viewers like Trump or whatever.
All right, but why didn't Jeb Bush do it? I mean, the other part,
like an ad. I'm not saying
sort of the classic sort of like conservative mentality. Like, I'm going to do what is best for me, and it's best for me not to alienate Trump's base because I could get them to beat Bush or to beat Cruz or to beat whatever.